somewhere, because the internet's pretty shaky. Are we good then? Okay, we did say it was good, so I did say that the internet seems to have a bit of a lag to it, but we'll work with it. Just to let everybody know, we have two lovely women joining us by internet connection here. The internet on one of them is very, very clear, but they did say that it's taking a bit, there's some lag with the video. On the other, the video's not quite so good. Sometimes it comes in and out, every now and then, kind of unexpectedly. We do have one, but so we're connected with one via Wi-Fi. Anyway, because she said her husband is like going to get an iPad or something, we'll just see how that goes, to see if we can improve the quality of the connection. We're going to try a different idea. Okay. Like I said, the meeting is starting at 1:09 p.m. We're 5 minutes late. It's 1:13 right now, but that's okay. I've already given everybody their agendas, and I do have the reports. I just haven't given them to you yet. I want to say something first. Connie interrupts. I want to say something. Okay, backing up. Our secretary wants to make sure, or wanted to make sure we have secretary. Anybody have any feedback from what we distributed? Alethea. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you got the date changed, because previously on the other one we had December and not the right one. Sally, anything to say? I did have one thing. The balance at the end, is that what you have in your books? Did you change? Yes, but I needed to change. I was waiting to change that before I got a confirmation from two other people. Do you think, should we have a third person confirm, or what? Chad says, I think so. Okay, Sally says, the balance on the report is going to be $47 off. But first we have to make sure that everything's confirmed correctly. Sally says, so we need to have you check the books because we're not sure that it was correct. Alethea isn't sure, maybe it was another person. Sally says, excuse me, yes, it was Danae, correct. The two of us, we signed it, but
she said she'll have to look into that.
So our research shows that there's a $47 difference. Is that a positive or negative difference? Yes, but
I've been
we're not.
the bank statement.
Yes, thank you. We're not sure if we're going to be going back to that, or we're going to be double checking those lines to make sure they're correct, or what? Whether we need to be going to the paperwork. Just got to look at the bank statement to make sure that it is correct. And just one other thing that I want to check. That's something else we'll need to check again at the next meeting. Alethea says yes. Indy's connection seems to be very, very bad. It's very hard to see me. Maybe it's because I'm not looking good enough today. The video froze? Okay, well then obviously I'm not beautiful today. Very cold apparently. So we're just going to disconnect with this one. Okay. Now I've disconnected one iPad. Is the connection better? Apparently not. Connie suggests separating the iPads. To have a bit of a gap to see if the air space can help. But maybe Marky, you could call me back. That might help the video quality for you too. So we got the other one off, but Indy says that she can see me better. Sally's got the Wi-Fi on her phone. I'm not sure if what Sally has might be better. Chad says, I've got AT&T, but it's a grandfathered plan. It has unlimited data. So, would you mind giving my text number? Yeah, the 509 number. Indy says that her connection is blurry now. Oh, so Alethea was playing with the Wi-Fi. Is that better now? This might be better. She says it's still blurry again. The internet is slower now, apparently. I've got a question for you, Indy. Are you able to come on May 2nd? Good. That's all I need to know. Yeah, you can join me. You can meet me at the Max station near the Whole Gate, and then we'll just go together. That's sure. That's fine. Now, if you keep having video problems and you feel like you just don't want to tolerate it, we'll just send you the minutes, and you can catch up that way. And you can take care of your sick boy. Well, I do apologize. He needs his mom right now. If you need to go, you can go ahead. Okay. No, that won't be a problem. But her boy is sick on the couch, and he wants her mom's attention, his mom's attention. So she's gonna take care of him, and he's kind of crying on the couch. Yeah, the sickness is the way we have today. Like this says, it's not funny. It's a mom's duty. But anyway, she said she can come on May 2nd, so we'll just let that be. Connie says, so I've got it on the minutes that she wasn't able to show up. Well, she did. All right, so Indy is no longer here, which means we're going to be so we've got the Wi-Fi connected to this device right here. Yeah, but if she's not in the room, then she's not able to vote. She has to be here. The bylaws dictate that she has to be here in order to vote. I can't see what Bill is saying. Then they're not allowed to vote. They're not allowed because they have to be here in the room.
Not like Roxanne.
Yeah, it can be difficult to have visibility when Alethea is getting cut away. So we've got, I've turned off my iPad to conserve energy. But anyway, now what we're going to talk about is the minutes. So we've got this on Facebook too. That's where I got this. And oh, sorry, I misunderstood. Anyway, so we've read this with the addition, and that was canceled. Okay. Corrections. Your phone is going off, Sally. Is this Marty? Do you think it's Marty? So I'm going to go ahead and call her back. I'm just letting her know. It's connecting. Says, and the call ended. So I'm connecting now with Marty. Anyway, let's talk about the minutes. Okay, so Sally, are there any disagreements with what's been mentioned so far? Let's get that out of the way. Can you see me, Marty? No? It's the same? Yes, Marty. The presidential report, are we ready for that? So we've got Rennie and Timo and but I want to say something that might be a little surprising to some of us here in the room. I've decided not to run again as president of OAD. Alethe says, really? And I am very firm on this decision. Connie asks why. Chad says, there are many reasons behind my decision, many things. Maybe the first one would be, other than, being an OAD president, I want to be part of a number of various organizations that I am currently a part of. CNA, for example, OHD, etc. That all will continue, but to be in the presidential role, that is something I'm done with, and I want to adjust my focus to be more on these other organizations. I want to make sure that I'll stay on the board so I can continue to promote the success of those other efforts, but I want to change my focus of leadership. I'll be developing some future plans that will have ties to the OAD role that I feel should be disconnected, and somebody else should take on those responsibilities so that I can have time to focus on other areas. Sally, we perhaps would be able to add a new title to your duties, perhaps. Like, it would be a new title. We could add it to the bylaws that would show, like, outreach or maybe coordinator. That would be a perfect title for that position that you're thinking of. Do you agree, anyone? That's an idea anyway. Is this the right word for what you're considering? Chad says, right, but I don't want anything on my plate right now. I just don't want any commitments. Any commitments to what I've been doing so far, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want any of that. Sally understands, nods in understanding. So do you also not want Alethe's? Don't want to be a trustee either? No, I do not want to be a trustee. I do not want to be on the board. But any committees, I would be happy to continue to volunteer.
So what do you So what title do you wanna call it? He just wants to be on the committee, you know, and work on the legislative things. Right, like he said, like the legislative committee, that kind of thing. You know, I'm involved in all of those things, but I don't really want formal positions. And I do want to make sure that the state bill passes.
449.
It's a volunteer position, so. I did have that in the back of my head, though. I predicted that you were gonna do this. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I understand he doesn't want to make any commitments. You just want to keep your roles that you have now, educational roles. Plus, I'm gonna fly to Atlanta and study the ADA laws.
So you're doing the ADA coordinator.
That conference will be on the 20th in July, and then there'll be a test after that. So altogether, it'll cost me $1,000. Oh my God. So, you know. So in addition to helping build up my credentials, you know, my resume, it'll look good on my resume. And there's also a state job. But I just want to clarify something. With the bylaws that we've passed, then there's new ones. If I understand correctly, the vice president's role is the chair of the legislative committee. Right. So, can it still be separated, or maybe we should just put them together? So, the vice president's role, if I work from the state, then I wouldn't be able to do any legislative work. Oh yeah, I was just wanting to put that out there. If we passed it, we could maybe put those two roles together. So we could make, so they would be able to make amendments and modifications and, you know, that kind of a thing as part of the vice president's role. I understood that we talked about the bylaws, but so far I haven't been here. But my concern would be when would those things be passed? Oh, very quickly, very quickly. Yeah, that's my guess. But yeah, we would document it immediately. Okay, well, that sounds great. Sally says I can be flexible with that. The laws, the amendments. If it disconnects, let me call you and we'll use the iPad, okay? Sally says, really, it's the same number. And Chad says, if we disconnect, I'm gonna call you from Sally's iPad. No. But if we disconnect, I will start to call you from Sally's iPad. Because if you call me, it will ring on her phone. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so So I'm gonna write my resignation letter and
Departure.
Peter over in the corner is helping me to modify and make changes to that letter so that it's ready to send out to everybody. And then after that, I'm going to be making a video to send to our constituents. I just haven't done that yet because I'm afraid that it's going to hurt the legislative.
so we'll see how that legislative process goes, and it's fine, but it's just the timeline that I'm concerned with. So I need to kind of focus on that a little bit as well. And we need to get some things done before that happens, which means that people might feel like, oh, Chad's done with all of this, and I want to make sure that somebody runs with for this position who can handle all of the events and and the educational efforts too. And if they're not willing to do the educational piece of it, Steve and I and Patrick
So who's on the, Patrick and I are on the legislative committee, and we are a really strong team together. So we're going to be running the meetings and that sort of thing. Yes.
Okay. So just think about all of that.
And who you want to have as president?
I'm not ready yet, so I want to stay about 4 years in the position that I have now and become more confident and do what I can and work with the technology. Yes, it has to pass. We're gonna be changing the name from trustee to board member. And Steve has a question? I wanna again say that if there are new bylaws passed, the vice president is going to be in charge of the legislative committee as well. I just want everyone to keep that in mind. Chad says, we'll see about that. So there are 3. I'm not saying that each of them
Each director position is going to have 6
6
years.
years. So in June, that will expire. And the other 2 will continue. So, okay, so